People think Mars is dangerous, it's a malefic, it's aggressive. I disagree. You see, Mars can force you, and all of us have defense mechanisms against that built into our chipmunk brains. But Venus does something a little bit more dangerous and at worst terrifying. It can make you want to say yes. That's a very different kind of power. So let's talk about the dark side of Venus and how she manifests through the signs so that you're not caught off guard by your Venus or someone else's, because this power is one that has been quietly running the world for millennia. And I'm Nadia, I'm neurospicy, I have a data addiction. And in the comments, I would love to know, what's your Venus sign? So what sign does she fall in? What house? Mine is in Aquarius and it's in my 11th house. And then I also would love to know, do you feel like you can tap into the shadow side of your Venus? I definitely feel like I can, but I try not to do so very often. Venus in Aries, it wants bold attraction, it wants honest desire and that passionate pursuit. And the shadow fear here is, what if I am not desirable enough? This leads to shadow behaviors like creating jealousy to feel wanted, chasing the thrill more than the relationship, using unpredictability to stay interesting and relevant. Worst and most of all, starting emotional fires to prove and test attraction and devotion. Venus in Taurus, it wants loyalty, comfort, and stability. The shadow fear here is, what if I lose what I love and no one clings like a Taurus? It leads to shadow behavior like possessiveness disguised as devotion, using comfort and security to keep people close and keep them where they are, make change feel like a personal betrayal, and equating love with ownership. Venus in Gemini wants wit, curiosity, it wants playfulness, and the shadow fear is, what if I become forgettable? The shadow behavior, thanks to that fear, is things like breadcrumbing attention, flirting for validation, if you know, you know, keeping multiple options open, it's the king and queen of situationships, withholding certainty to remain interesting. Venus in Cancer wants nurturing, devotion, and emotional care. And the shadow fear is, what if no one needs me anymore? This leads to shadow behaviors like gives to create obligation, making guilt feel like love and martyrdom, using care as emotional currency, and struggle to let people become independent. Venus in Leo wants generosity, it wants romance, it wants celebration. The shadow fears, what if I'm not special? The shadow behavior then becomes need admiration to feel love, makes affection become performative, using attention as proof of love, and withdraw warmth when appreciation disappears. I think a Leo Venus is one of the most dangerous signs to have if you are narcissistic, because it's incredibly manipulative. This is not to say that all Leo Venuses are narcissists, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if you have someone in your life that is narcissistic and a Leo Venus, be very careful. Venus in Virgo, it wants service, it wants thoughtfulness, it wants practical love. And its shadow fear is, what if I have nothing valuable to offer? This leads to shadow behaviors like trying to earn love or making others earn your love, fixing people instead of accepting them, using criticism disguised as care and affection, and making affection conditional on improvement. Venus in Libra wants harmony, it wants diplomacy, it wants partnership, and the shadow fear is, what if they stop choosing me? This can lead to shadow behaviors like people pleasing or manipulation, avoiding direct confrontation, using charm instead of honesty, and making disagreements feel like rejection. A Libra Venus can be incredibly manipulative when it's operating out of its shadow. Venus in Scorpio wants intimacy, it wants loyalty, and it wants emotional depth. It does not do shallow. And the shadow fear is, what if they betray me? This can lead to shadow behaviors like testing loyalty instead of trusting it, using intimacy as leverage. This is a classical Venus in Scorpio. Creating emotional dependency and mistaking possession for devotion. Another very dangerous Venus sign. Venus in Sagittarius wants adventure, it wants optimism, it wants exploration. The shadow fear is, what if love limits me? This leads to shadow behaviors like keeping one foot in the door and the other one out of the door, using distance to maintain power, romanticizing freedom over intimacy, and leaving before vulnerability arrives. Venus in Sagittarius operating from its shadow behavior can be incredibly cool, flippant, and dismiss people around them. Venus in Capricorn, it wants commitment, reliability, and long-term love. But the shadow fear is, what if vulnerability costs me everything? The shadow behavior is things like making love transactional, withholding affection until it's earned, using status, success, or competence as emotional armor, struggling to receive as much as they give. It can feel very cold, and it can also feel very conditional. Venus in Aquarius. Hi, twin. Venus in Aquarius wants acceptance, it wants friendship, it wants authenticity, and the shadow fear for us is, what if intimacy makes me lose myself? The shadow behaviors that we are inclined to have when we operate from our shadow is using emotional distance as power, staying just out of reach, intellectualizing feelings. Oh my goodness, how much do I have experience with this? Making independence feel more important than closeness. It can be incredibly cold. It can be very ruthless and brutal when operating out of its shadow. Venus in Pisces is a conundrum like any Pisces sign, but it wants compassion, it wants romance, and it wants unconditional love. The shadow fear is, what if I have to see love exactly as it is? What if I have to step out of my mirage? A shadow behavior is falls in love with potential instead of reality. Use self-sacrifice to create emotional bonds. Trauma bonding is huge for a Pisces Venus. Confusing rescuing with loving. Avoids boundaries because they feel unkind, becoming the martyr, quietly hoping someone notices and give you attention. The takeaway is that a healthy Venus attracts by being authentic. A shadow Venus attracts by becoming strategic. And strategy, love, and attraction together can be a very dangerous combination. If you're a ride or die, you've made it till the end, I want to know which one of the Venus signs scared you most. For me, I probably would be most terrified of a Scorpio Venus, a Aquarius Venus, and a Taurus Venus, because I think their dark side is the darkest. Not to say you're dark if you have any of these though.